the benefit of that. Textus Receptus begins to get dethroned when Johannes Albert Bengel in the 1730s produced a text that deviated from Textus Receptus, relying on earlier manuscripts. In 1831, Karl Lachmann produced a text that represented the 4th century Alexandrian codices. And then Trigella.
Jeg vil bare vise dere dette her nå, dere på siden her, sånn at dere skal forstå Bibelens historie og dens 3 forskjellige trær fra en ekspert I stedet for meg, siden jeg blir jo ikke trudd uansett hva jeg sier.
Who was a self-taught in Latin, Hebrew, and Greek, spent his lifetime publishing a Greek text that came out before the end of the 19th century. But the point is, these Alexandrian codices that emerged while they were presumably actually were codified in the 4th, 5th century, they were discovered in the 16th, 17th century, are beginning to influence the modern translations, the NIV and others. And so the question is, are they really reliable? It has been very fashionable to lean heavily on these codices and less on Textus Receptus, and let's see what the difference are. There are 2 guys that you'll hear a lot about. There's a guy named Brooke Foss Westcott and Fenton John Anthony Hort, Westcott and Hort. They were and they had contempt for Textus Receptus. And so they began a work in 1853. After 28 years, they spent in a Greek New Testament based on Vaticanus and Sinaiticus, the 2 of the what we now regard as corrupt manuscripts.
Yeah, nettopp.
They were influenced by Origen and others who denied the deity of Jesus Christ. They embraced the Gnostic heresies of the period from the headquarters of the Gnostics in Alexandria. There are over 3,000 contradictions in the 4 Gospels alone between these manuscripts. They changed the traditional Greek in over 8,000 places.
Wow.
Now, Westcott and Hort, they found, and just to give you some background on these 2 characters, they're regarded as the greatest Greek scholars and so forth. Let's look into this a little bit. They founded the Hermes Club, where they venerated the messenger of the gods, the guide for departed souls. In 1851, they started a guild at Cambridge, quote, to conduct serious and earnest inquiry into the nature of supernatural phenomenon. Call that spiritism.
Ja, nettopp. Jeg skulle akkurat si det.
Westcott's son said his father's, quote, faith in what, for a better name, one must call spiritism, close quote.
Såpass, ja.
In a letter to Archbishop of Canterbury, Westcott wrote, quote, no one now, I suppose, hold that the first 3 chapters of Genesis, for example, give a literal history. I could never understand how anyone reading them with open eyes could think they did.
Wow.
So the point is, they're not believers. In April 3rd, 1860, Hort wrote, but the book which has engaged me most is Darwin. What may be thought of it, it is a book that one is proud to be contemporary with. My feeling is strong that the theory is unanswerable.
Wow.
This is Hort's view. How about the universal fatherhood of God? Westcott believed that the universal fatherhood of God, in reference to John 10, 28 and 29, he wrote, the thought which is concrete in verse 28 is here traced back to its most absolute form as resting on the essential power of God in his relation of universal fatherhood. Westcott said Christians were Christ.
Okay, so
Christians are themselves, in a true sense, Christ.
Yeah.
That's his Christology. Hort said, I am inclined to think that no such state as Eden, I mean the popular notion, ever existed in that Adam's fall and
Det betyr, altså det han tror på da, at vi alle guder. Han tror på apoteosis, som det kalles, menneskets elevasjon til gudestatus. Vi alle guder, ikke sant? Gud I himmelen, han bare en spøk, han vet du. Men eksperten forklarer videre.
He also wrote to Westcott, I entirely agree, having many years believed that the absolute union of Christian, or rather of man, with Christ himself is the spiritual truth of which the popular doctrine of substitution is an immoral and material counterfeit. Certainly nothing could be more unscriptural than the modern limiting of Christ bearing our sins and suffering to his death. But that is only one aspect of an almost universal heresy. Wow. These are the guys we're talking about here. Or says, I confess I have no repugnance to the primitive doctrine of ransom paid to Satan, though neither am I prepared to give full assent to it. But I can see no other possible form in which the doctrine of ransom is at all tenable. Anything is better than the notion of a ransom paid to the Father. Wow. So that's his reference to Matthew 20. Hort writes to another letter, he says, finding St. Paul's mysterious words, without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. I have labored so utterly to apprehend in any measure what this idea is, that I hope you will deepen and widen the hints you have already given. I'm quite conscious that I have given but few distinct objections to the common belief, redemption through the blood of the Lamb, in what I have written. But so indeed it must be, language cannot accurately define the twinge of shrinking horror which mixes with my thought when I hear the popular notion of sudden. Westcott.
De tror ikke engang på at Jesus ble offret for syndene av denne verden. Dem som har skrevet de mest spredte og brukte biblene nå om dagen. Blant annet den vi bruker her i landet, RSV-en.
Denies the sinlessness of Christ. He says the concept is that of bringing Christ to the full perfection of his humanity, which carries with it the completeness of power and dignity. The perfection was not reached till after death. Boy. And again, Westcott says the resurrection seems to me to be the image of man unfallen to a higher life, not future but present. Not I shall be hereafter, but I am.
Oh.
Again, very new age. I have been persuaded for many years that the Mary worship and Jesus worship have very much in common with their causes and results. And also from Hort, he says the pure Romish view seems to be nearer and more likely to lead to truth than the evangelical. And then Hort even is recorded as having purgatory as a great important truth. These are the guys.
Vet du hva? Dette her dragespråk. Dette her, altså, disse folka som har oversatt det som har blitt da, NIV-en, ASV-en, ESV-en, RSV-en, alle disse biblene som nå til salgs da, for det det de pusher, det det de selger om dagen. Jeg måtte spesialbestille, folkens, en King James-versjon, og de hadde den ikke på norsk. Jeg måtte bestille den på engelsk.
Hort denies that heaven is literal. It's hardly necessary to say that this whole local language is figurative folly. And he goes on, the true lesson is that language speaks of a ransom is but figurative. And Hort says that appearance of Christ is figurative. Nothing in either this passage or others on the same subject apart from the figurative language of the Thessalonians to show that the revelation here spoken of is to be limited to a sudden preternatural theophany. It may be long and varying process, though ending in a climax. And he described Textus Receptus as vile and villainous, and on it goes. How certainly this is the one part he says that I agree with. Westcott admits, quote, how certainly I should have been proclaimed a heretic, close quote.
Ja, det skulle du, Westcott, og det skulle du og Hort, og det skulle alle disse forlagene også, som nå har gjort disse biblene så populære at jeg ender opp i krangler med folk, mine medbrødre og søstre, på grunn av at dere har bibler som helt komplett endret hvis du sammenligner dem med Textus Receptus, hvis du sammenligner dem med den gamle Septuaginten, hvis du sammenligner dem med King James-versjonen, mange ganger kan du til og med sammenligne dem med hverandre, fordi de har fjernet noe i en som en annen har, og liksom masse sånt noe. Det tre trær. Det den aleksandriske, det en gnostisk tekst som de har slakta da. Gnostikerne kjente for å fjerne ting, eller legge til ting i Bibelen, i Guds ord. Den jødisk-masoretiske teksten, dessverre, ble korrupt da, etter at de tok livet av Jesus, og så etter at de mistet tempelet sitt i år 70. Det ikke noe mer å diskutere engang dette her, altså, folkens, for dette her historiske faktum. Det ikke jeg som sier det til dere. Jeg lei meg for å være budbringeren av denne triste beskjeden. Men igjen da, så står vi igjen med ett tre, og det Textus Receptus. Ikke sant? Den mottatte tekst. Og det de fem, altså det tårene da, helt fram til år 90, og når de hadde rådet i Jamnia etter å ha mistet tempelet og tatt livet av Jesus, for da redefinerte de jødedommen, så vi står igjen med det midterste, altså det jeg kaller det midterste treet da, som Textus Receptus 3, og som inneholder Septuaginten, den inneholder Tyndale-versjonen, den inneholder King James-versjonen, ja, han inneholder mange. Det faktisk den vi har flest manuskript til, overveldende så også. Jeg tror det 5500 manuskript som bygger opp Textus Receptus, mens de andre, de har nesten ikke noe. Jeg ville bare vise dette her, sånn at dere skal vite hva dere har i hendene deres. Jeg har en revidert standardversjon her, som mora og faren min brukte når de gifta seg selv. Når de gifta seg. Ja. Den også masse mangler og feil ved. Jeg har sjekket den King Jamesen mot den greske 70-versjonen, og der finner jeg veldig få feil. Kjære Jesus Kristus, Far i himmelen, Jahve og den hellige ånd, jeg ber om at du åpner øynene til folk, og at de ikke figurativt skyter han som kom med beskjeden, da det ikke jeg som har oversatt disse korrupte bibelversjonene. Det Westcott og Hort, blant annet. Jeg ber om at hjertene til mine medkristne åpnes for dette her, så de kan se, så de kan sammenligne selv, og se med sine egne øyne, og i sitt hjerte derfor også forstå at ordet blir forsøkt forandret, og at jeg ber om, kjære Jesus Kristus, at du vokter dem, og at du beskytter dem, så de velger riktig. I Jesus Kristus hellige navn, Faderen, Sønnen og den hellige ånd. Jeg ber. Amen.